Hi friends, in this part we are going to look into different types of systems executing simple harmonic motion. Simple harmonic motion is a type of motion in which the acceleration is proportional to the displacement from the equilibrium position, and this acceleration is always directed towards that equilibrium position. So the first case which we will be looking at is the simple pendulum. So let's consider let this be the equilibrium position. Let's consider a bob of mass m which is hanging from the ceiling through an inextensible weightless string of length L, and at certain time it is making an angle theta with that equilibrium position. So what will be the kinetic energy here? Kinetic energy is equal to half mv squared. V in terms of spherical polar coordinates can be written as half m r dot squared plus r squared theta dot squared. Now r here is the length, theta is this angle, but length is constant, so r dot is going to be 0. Theta is the variable part, so you'll have your half m L squared theta dot squared. Next we come at the potential energy. Potential energy, if I consider my potential energy at this point is 0, so here it is going to be negative, which will be minus mgh. This height is going to be the height of the bob from this ceiling, and this is nothing but L cos theta. So this will be minus mgl cos theta. So the total energy of the system is half ml squared theta dot squared minus mgl cos theta. Now this energy is constant or conserved. So we have dE by dt is equal to 0. So we now differentiate this with respect to time. Here you have to note that only theta is the variable quantity, m, l and g all are constants. So when you do the differentiation, it will be m l squared theta dot theta double dot plus m g l theta dot sine theta is equal to 0. This comes out to be theta dot is equal to minus g by l sine theta sine theta. For small angles, we can take sine theta is equal to almost equal to theta, and we will have theta double dot is equal to minus g by l into theta. This is the equation of simple harmonic motion. We can write this g by l as omega squared, or omega is equal to root g by l. Then this theta dot will be equal to minus omega squared theta. Now this is the equation of simple harmonic motion. So we can see that for small amplitudes, when sine theta is almost equal to theta, right? So we took small amplitude. When we take small amplitude, then sine theta is can be written as theta here. So for small amplitudes, the motion of the simple pendulum is going to be simple harmonic motion. But for larger amplitudes, it will be anharmonic. That anharmonic could be oscillatory or periodic motion, but it will not be simple harmonic motion. So the general solution of this equation can be, or you can make this equation can be written as theta is equal to theta naught sine omega t plus phi, where phi is the phase, theta naught is the amplitude. What about the time period? Time period is equal to 2 pi by omega, right? So that will come out to be 2 pi root of L by G, because omega is root G by L. Or roughly you can say that time period is equal to 2 pi root of L by F, or acceleration, all the downward force or downward acceleration which is acting. I'll explain that. We'll be looking at some cases, then you will understand that. Case 1. Let's say we have our pendulum, okay, and obviously we'll have mg acting downwards, and let's say we have some external force F which is acting at some angle theta dash with respect to this mg. So it is making some angle with this downward mg. So what will be the time period in this case? The time period in this case is going to be 2 pi root of, the length of the pendulum is L, length of this inextensible string is L by G here will take all the force but in the downward direction. So that will be magnitude of G plus F by M. And what is the magnitude of sum of two vector quantities? Magnitude of A plus B is going to be A squared plus B squared plus 2AB cos theta, root of all this, where theta is the angle between this A and B. So here A is G, B is F by M. So we can open this in this form, and depending on theta you can write the denominator. Now let's say it is in some liquid. The pendulum is oscillating in some liquid, so we'll have a buoyant force which will be acting upwards, right? It is in some liquid and we have a buoyant force acting upwards, and we'll have mg downwards. So what will be theta here? Theta is total 180, and what is cos 180? Cos pi is minus 1. Then again time period is going to be 2 pi root of L by, same thing, G plus buoyant force Bf, right? So Bf divided by the mass, the magnitude of this term, that is nothing but G squared plus Bf upon m the whole squared plus 2G into Bf upon m into cos pi, the root of all this. This is the denominator part. Cos pi is minus 1, this will be minus, this is a minus b the whole squared, root of that, this is going to be 2 pi root of L by G minus Bf upon m. This is going to be the time period in this case. Now if you have the force acting at right angles, now we have the force, some force at right angles with this mg. So again we'll have the same formula, 2 pi root of L by Bg plus this thing. Here theta is going to be 90, cos 90 is 0, we'll have just a squared plus b squared. So here time period is going to be 2 pi root of L by G squared plus F by m the whole squared and the root of this term. That's it. Now if we have the pendulum inside a lift, then what will happen? The pendulum is inside a lift. Case 1 is when the lift is moving upwards. Okay, the pendulum is inside here, mg downwards, lift is moving upwards. Lift is not moving, lift is stationary. Then what will be the time period? Lift is stationary. And third case, lift is coming downwards. Lift is coming down. Then what will be the time period? So when the lift is going upwards, the bob is going to experience an external force because of the motion of the lift, right? So when the lift is going upwards, the bob will experience a force downwards. Okay, so this force is going to be some force acting downwards. Let's say that acceleration is a naught. So time period is going to be 2 pi root of L by, now here the angle theta between both mg and a naught is 0, right? G and a naught, the angle is 0. So this will be just g plus a naught. You can put that in that magnitude of a plus b formula. Now when the lift is stationary, it is not moving, there is no external force acting on it, it will be just mg. So T will be only 2 pi root of L by G. That will be the normal formula which we get. But when the lift is coming downwards with, let's say, some acceleration a naught, then the bob is also going to experience some external force, and that external force is going to be upwards. That the force that the bob is going to feel is going to be upwards with that some certain acceleration a naught. So here time period T will be 2 pi root of, the angle between them is 180 degree, it will be G minus a naught. I hope this is clear. Now if we have a pendulum inside a car where the car is moving towards the right. When the car is moving towards the right, this is the car and this car is moving towards the right. When the car is moving towards the right, the bob is going to experience an external force because of the motion of the car, but that force on the pendulum is going to, on the bob is going to be backwards. So we'll have one mg down and this one external force backwards. Okay, so this was related to simple pendulum. Now we will look into spring mass system. This is the second one, right? First, we will look into the case of having a light spring, or we can also call it when the mass of the spring is negligible. So let's say we have a spring mass system. This is a spring which is attached to some mass m with spring constant is k. Now let's say it has undergone some elongation and now it is at this certain position m. This is again k anyway, and let's call this extension that it has gone by x. So what will be the equation here? The equation of motion is going to be ma. So here the force is equal to ma, right? This is Newton's second law. But you have to remember something here is that this is not the force. The force is this, okay? So any force that you are substituting, whatever the force is acting on the object, that force is given by this term. This is just mass into acceleration whose units come out to be force. So we can write this as F is equal to mx double dot, because if we consider only along one direction, and the net force which is acting on the system is only because of the spring, right? So we'll have here minus kx is equal to mx double dot. So I can write this x double dot is equal to minus k by m, minus k by m into x. Now this term, this equation is again that of the simple harmonic motion, and then again we'll have here omega is equal to root k by m, and time period t is equal to 2 pi by omega, which is 2 pi root of m by k. This was pretty simple when we consider a light spring. Now if we consider a heavy spring, then what we'll get? So second case is for heavy spring. In this case of heavy spring, we are saying that there is mass of the spring which we are considering, and so first let's draw this. This is same thing and it is undergoing same elongation. This is the mass m, this is mass m. Let me call the mass of the spring as ms. Okay. And let after certain elongation the length of the spring be L. So due to the mass of the spring, different portions of the spring will have different kinetic energy. So I'll consider one elementary portion, okay? I'll consider one elementary portion with, let's say, mass dms and this width as dy, and the total mass of the spring is ms. So I'm going to find the kinetic energy of this small elementary portion. Then I will integrate it to get the total kinetic energy of that spring, kinetic energy of the spring. So let the distance of this elementary portion from this starting point be y. So what will be the kinetic energy of this element? Kinetic energy of the element is going to be half dms into dy velocity squared, right? So that will be v squared. Let's say v is the velocity of this small portion, just this portion, this elementary portion, we are calling it has the velocity v. Now since the spring is uniform, we can write the linear density as ms upon L will be equal to dms divided by dy. So here dms can be written as ms upon L into dy. And we can also write the velocity of that element as y by L into x dot. Now, why we took the velocity of the element as y by L into x dot? Because the velocity of the element, it depends on the distance of that element from this position where it is attached to the wall. So that is y. So v depends on y. So to balance, and then we can balance the dimensions and we can get y by L is into x dot. Now we can find the kinetic energy of the spring. So the kinetic energy of the entire spring is going to be integration of this term. That is going to be half dms into v squared. Substitute the values. It will be half dms is ms by L dy into v squared is y squared upon L squared into x dot squared. So ms is constant out, 2 out, L cube out, x dot squared out. We'll have integration y squared dy. This y is going from here to here, which we are taking the total length to be L. So 0 to L. So we'll have mx upon 2 L cube x dot squared y cube upon 3. We'll have here 0 to L. So that is nothing but 1 by 6 ms x dot squared. This I can write as half ms by 3 x dot squared, which is the kinetic energy of the spring, half m v squared. This is the effective mass of the spring, ms upon 3. So now we can write the total energy of the system. The total energy of the system is going to be sum of the kinetic energy plus the potential energy, and this energy, total energy, comes out to be half m x dot squared, that is the kinetic energy of the bob, plus the kinetic energy of the spring, that is half ms upon 3 x dot squared, plus the potential energy of the spring, which is half k x squared. If we consider that there is no damping, then we can write the equation, we can take energy as constant and we take dE by dt equals to 0. From this we can get the equation of motion, and that comes out to be mx dot x double dot plus ms by 3 x dot x double dot plus kx x dot is equal to 0. Solve this. X double dot into m plus ms by 3 is equal to minus kx. This is the equation of motion, which is again the motion equation of simple harmonic motion, where omega here is equal to root k by m plus ms by 3. So this entire term m plus ms by 3 is the effective total mass of the system, and then the time period is equal to 2 pi by omega, which is 2 pi root of m plus ms by 3 divided by k. Now we can write this time period graphically, we can plot it graphically. Square this, we will have t squared is equal to 4 pi squared upon k m plus ms by 3. Now if I plot between t squared and m, so I can write this in the form y is equal to mx plus c. Y is equal to mx 4 pi squared upon k into x plus c, that is 4 pi squared by 3 ms upon k. So this is y is equal to mx plus c, which is the slope and the intercept. We will get a straight line. I hope this is straight. Where this is the intercept c, which is 4 pi squared ms upon 3k, and this is some theta, and this is slope. So slope is 4 pi squared upon k. We can also write that as tan theta is equal to 4 pi squared upon k. So if we know theta, we can get tan theta, and from tan theta we can get the value of k. We can put the value of k in the intercept, we can get the value of ms. From there we can substitute all that and get the time and get T. So what about the values of force, velocities and accelerations for simple pendulum and the spring mass system? So when you have a simple pendulum, if the bob is at this point, or if the bob is at its extreme positions, so at the equilibrium position, the force is going to be 0, the acceleration is 0, but the velocity is maximum. And at the extreme positions, the force and accelerations are maximum, but the velocity is 0. And here also force is going to be maximum, acceleration is going to be maximum, and the velocity is going to be 0. Similarly, for the spring mass system, if this is the initial position, the equilibrium position, let this and this positions be the extreme positions. This is the extreme position, this is the extreme position, and this is the equilibrium position. So at the equilibrium position, again the force is going to be 0, the acceleration is going to be 0, and the velocity will be maximum. And at the extreme positions, force will be maximum, acceleration will be maximum, velocity will be 0. Here also force will be maximum, acceleration will be maximum, velocity will be 0. Here you can say theta will be maximum, here you can say theta will be maximum, because these are the extreme positions for this bob. And here you can say that displacement x is going to be maximum, and here also displacement x is going to be maximum. Now we will look into our third system, which is a cylindrical vessel oscillating in a liquid. Let's consider a cylindrical vessel. So we have a cylindrical vessel which is oscillating in a liquid. Let this be its equilibrium case. So let's say it is having total height h. Equilibrium, h naught, height h naught is dipped inside the liquid. And for a certain case, second case, when it starts oscillating, we have h naught plus x height which is dipped inside the liquid. Now what is buoyant force? Buoyant force, so because of the liquid there will be an upward force which will be experienced by this vessel, and that we call as the buoyant force. So this buoyant force is acting upwards. What is the buoyant force given by? Buoyant force is given by the density, the volume and g. Density is the density of the liquid. Volume is the volume of that part of the object which is immersed inside the liquid, and g is obviously acceleration due to gravity. So for equilibrium, this first one, the buoyant force B1 is equal to mg, because it is at equilibrium, both forces will balance each other, and at B1 it will be density of the liquid. Let's call the density of this liquid as rho L. Okay, the density of the liquid, rho L. Volume of the liquid, volume of the cylinder which is immersed inside the liquid, that part of the cylinder, volume of that part of the cylinder which is immersed inside the liquid, and that let's say let's say is A into h naught. A is the area, and then we have G is equal to mg. Okay, fine, is equal to mg. Let's call this as equation 1. Now this is the second case. For the second case, the equation of motion in this displaced position is given by the net force is equal to ma. What is the net force acting? mg downwards minus b2 upwards is equal to ma. mg downwards, what will be b2 here? Density of the liquid, volume which is immersed, so that will be area into h naught plus x, height is immersed, right? h naught plus x into g is equal to ma. We can open this, mg minus rho L A h naught g minus rho L A xg is equal to ma. Here rho L A H naught g is equal to mg. Substitute that here, we will have mg minus rho L A x g is equal to ma. This and this cancels. We will have a is equal to g by m into x. This is again the equation of simple harmonic motion, where a we can write as x double dot. So that is minus rho L A g upon m into x. X double dot is equal to minus rho L A g upon m into x. This is the equation of simple harmonic motion. So this term will be omega, which is root of rho L A g by m. What is m here? G and g cancel. M is rho L A H naught. Substitute that, rho L this is omega root of g by h naught. What will be the time period? 2 pi by omega. 2 pi root of h naught upon g. Okay, so we'll stop here. There are some more systems for which we are going to find the time period, the omega and the time period for those systems, and we will look at that in the next part. Take care. Peace be upon you.